Hey artists, it's Mrs. Campbell here, and I am here to teach you another lesson today. And I have an assistant with me today. This is Daisy. Daisy, say hi. Hi. And she is going to help me tell you a little bit about origami. Origami is our next art lesson that I'm sending to you. And I chose origami because I know how much all of my students absolutely love origami, or at least a lot of them do. And you guys all know how I feel about origami, and that it's not one of my favorite things, but that I like to encourage it with you guys because I know how much you love it, and it's good to try new things even if you're not good at it or if you're uncomfortable doing it. So I have for you several origami directions in your packet that you can follow along with, and I'm also going to attach some videos here of me folding different origami things for you. You're going to notice in the videos that I really struggle with folding different things. So I videoed myself folding the origami house, which is really great for some of the younger kids. I would say K1 or even 2. And then I also videoed one of the paper airplanes. There are 3 different versions of the paper airplane. And then I also did a video of me folding a paper crane and a paper cube, which both of those things I'm pretty sure are the first time I've ever folded them all the way through. And I know for a fact that some of my older students, my 4th and 5th graders, are pros at folding cranes and cubes. So maybe they should be teaching this lesson instead of me. Anyway, you're gonna notice in especially the crane and the cube video that I really even struggled with following the directions, and I had to stop. I had to really look at it. Look at what I was supposed to be doing and try again. That's why origami is so hard. Some of the directions are really specific, and sometimes you can't really tell what they're trying to tell you to do. So I had to stop and start over, and I had to try again, and you're gonna see that in the video. So I want you to know that it's okay if you mess up, or it's okay if you hate it. I'm not gonna lie, it's not my favorite type of art, but again, it's good to try new things, and I wanted to share origami art with you guys today because it's such an important part of the art world. So please post if you tried to fold something. I also had a paper airplane contest, paper airplane flying contest with my husband and my exchange student that's been staying with me, and mine won, by the way. But anyway, you could try something like that with your family, or you could try folding all of the things or just some of them. But please post or let me know if you tried folding some of the origami things. Or maybe you could go online and you could find other folding videos or directions, and you can impress me with your sweet skills. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Miss you. Love you. So here I am folding the origami house. This one is the easiest of all the folds that I sent you. This one would be good for, I would say, kindergarten, 1st, or even 2nd graders, but it's super fun to do. So if you just want to try it anyway, go for it, obviously. But it doesn't have a lot of steps, and it is pretty easy, some of the folds to do. So give it a try and see how it goes. The cool part about this one is that after you fold it, it's kind of fun to decorate it too. So I just took some markers and I kind of started adding some details on the house until I felt like it had enough color. You could do this with markers, crayons, colored pencils, paint. All right, so here is the easiest of the paper airplane folding origami. You'll notice I start with just a rectangular piece of paper. It's not really important for it to be a square, but for the two following folds, it will be important for your piece of paper to be a square, and I also show you how to do that. But for now, this is how you fold a paper airplane. There are two other ways to fold paper airplanes in your packet, and those two are a little bit more challenging than this one, but they are still pretty cool and they're still pretty doable for you. Ta-da! Here's our paper airplane flying contest. See mine? Way out there in the front. Woohoo! So this is how you make your rectangular piece of paper into a square. You're gonna fold one corner all the way over to the side so that it's nice and lined up with the edge. And then with a pair of scissors, or if you can rip really straight, you're going to cut off the extra that's left over so that what you end up with after you open it up back up again is a square piece of paper. It's a paper. I did the part where you fold it and you make it a square. And I am beginning to start with my paper crane folding. This one was pretty tough for me. So I'm going to try to talk you through a couple of my challenges so that I can help you get through things that were hard for me. You can see when I slow down and start folding really slowly that I'm really thinking and looking at the pictures. Restart. Something about it didn't look right. All right, restart. Here we go. Try again. My mistake was that I folded it too many times. So make sure you only fold it into a big triangle and not fold it into a small triangle. This part wasn't so bad. Make sure that you're folding. So I believe this is where I messed up again too. I think what you need to do is you need to fold the other side. So the part that's really pointy, that's like all the loose ends of the fold, whereas I think you'll see pretty soon here, I get very confused again. And I need to flip it and fold it the other way. This part was probably the most challenging part. I feel like once you understand this part, once you get this part, then it goes a lot easier. I was struggling. Okay, so I didn't restart from the beginning, but this is the part I was telling you about where I accidentally folded it from the wrong side. I had to do some really long looking at what I was supposed to be doing, and I had to try again. Still a struggle at this part, but I eventually did figure it out. And so I can tell you what kind of helped me was that you do eventually kind of crease it towards that top corner, and then it opens up. Okay, so see how I kind of creased it right there, and then it ended up folding, and I was like, aha, that is what I finally did wrong, and I got it. So then, unfortunately, you do have to do that again on the other side. And you can see that I did still kind of struggle with it, but I did have a little bit of an easier time with it on this side. So see, I'm still kind of struggling with it. Even though I knew how to do it already and I learned it, it was still a challenge for me. Finally. The rest of it isn't too bad after this point. So the mistake I made right here was that I only folded the corner to touch that center line, and really you need to fold the whole edge to touch that center line. And you'll see in a second I flip it back over and I fix it. See how I'm making the whole edge touch that center line? I kind of had a moment where I discovered that and realized I was doing it wrong. So then I flip it over and I fix that side because I did it wrong. So that part kind of looked like a fold to me, but actually it's more of like a open and kind of tuck it in. And you'll see that it kind of starts to take the shape of a crane when you're doing this, and so you know you're on the right path. When you get to this point, you're almost done. So just keep going and just kind of work the last few steps and get it to look the way you want it. Yay! I did it. Man, that was definitely the most challenging out of all the things that I tried to fold. Woohoo! All right, here is the last origami folding that I'm going to show you today, and this is the paper cube, or I like to also call it a balloon, because the very last step is you do blow it up. So I started by folding my paper so that I could cut off the extra and make it from a rectangle into a square, and that's a really important step on this one and the crane one that you just saw. I will say that this one was a bit easier than the crane, so that's good. I didn't struggle with it as much, but I did have to stop and kind of look at the directions a couple times. This part was slightly challenging as well, trying to figure out which part needed to go in and which part needed to stay out. It does ultimately need to look like a triangle, so I was actually pulling parts out at first that needed to be pushed in. So you can see at first that looks more like a diamond or a square, and that's incorrect. It needs to look like a triangle. So that part was tricky for me, and I had to kind of readjust what I was doing and get it to look more like a triangle after I poked those sides in. So this one is different than the crane, where it actually does need to be the point of the corner needs to touch the edge, or touch that center line, I guess. So then you kind of find the parts that are a little bit loose like that, and you're going to tuck them in to the space that is formed there. This part was kind of tricky, but it wasn't too bad. I ended up kind of cramming it in there, but it ended up working, so do what you think works for you. So after you do the one side, you do flip it over and do the other side. And then you kind of gently pull it open. And here's the part that's the most fun. You blow into the side that has a hole, and you kind of guide it. I found that I had to kind of guide it a little bit, but then it ends up popping open into a cube or like a balloon type thing. So cool. Kind of fun to play with. Don't forget to post the cool things that you made either to our Google Classroom, or if you want to post to our Flipgrid virtual art show, and show us what you made. Show us if you made some of the things that I showed you, or maybe you tried something more challenging. But either way, hopefully I get to see some of the cool things that you folded this week. Talk to you soon.